So we'll call the Plan Commission meeting to order for January 8th, 2024. And roll call is Kristen Runge, Joe Zitzelberger,
Here.
Trisha Braun. Here. Brian Wallace.
Here.
Chris Thomas.
Here.
Kevin Phelps.
Here.
Chris Zellner.
Here.
And then we need one more motion to appoint a chair.
I move to appoint Joe Zitzelberger, Chair.
Second.
Carried. Joe Zitzelberger is now the chair. Oh, sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, thank you. I guess let's start probably by getting to know Lauren a little bit here. We do that?
Sure.
Sure.
A little bit. I'm Lauren Dietz. I'm the new Community Development Director, taking over for Tim, who retired. I most recently came from MSA. This is my old boss. That's my new boss. I was at MSA for 2 years as a planner on the Wisconsin team. And before that, worked a myriad of jobs, including for the city Knoxville in Iowa, which was my introduction to public service. So I've been a planner on and off for about 10 years now.
Excellent. Welcome. Welcome.
It's
All
good
right.
to be here.
Let's move on to the minutes. Are there any changes or corrections? If
Motion to
not-
approve.
Okay.
Second.
Motion from Chris and second from Kevin. I actually will move to amend that motion because I've got two corrections. First one would be, well, they're both within the public comment section. Maria Pat also mentioned the 5:30 meeting start time, so if we could add that. And then the second thing would be to strike the Robert McPherson portion from public comment. That was actually in the public hearing for chickens. I checked the video. Okay, so that's the motion to amend. Do we have a
I
second?
accept it. Don't I just have to accept it?
I do have a quick question though. Are the comments from trustee McPherson, are they reflected in the
They
public
are,
hearing comments?
they are
So
in
they're
the
kind of
public
in
hearing.
both?
Yep.
I see. Okay, thanks.
Okay, so,
I accepted it.
so I had a motion. Is that a second or an accepted?
It's not a motion. I can accept it, right?
That works for me.
And I think the second has to
Second.
accept it.
Okay,
Because you're amending our motion. That's
Correct.
really What it is.
correct. Okay, so we've got the second over here. So all those, any other discussion or amendments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so that takes care of the amendment, and then we have a second vote for the actual accepting of the minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so the minutes are accepted. On to public comment. Do we have any public comment this evening, Tracy?
No public comments turned in. We have one attendee, Michael Lawton. If you wish to speak, please raise your hand and I will admit you to the meeting.
I'm going to assume probably not. Yeah, okay. So then we will move on to business item number 1. Discuss and take action on a certified survey map dividing 1330 Water Wheel Drive into 2 lots. This is an item for final action by the village board, and I think Todd probably. Jason's gonna do it. Okay.
Yeah, I'll take this one. It's pretty straightforward. I don't know if Mr. Lawton had wanted to say anything. My guess is that he was just monitoring. But he'll raise his hand for Tracy if he does want to say something, I'm sure. You guys have seen this project before in other ways. This is CSM to divide the lot that the tasting room is going to be built on into 2 halves, roughly. The northern half being lot 1 there on the right side, and the southern half being lot 2, where lot 2 is part of the extension of parking from Buck and Honey's. And if you scroll down onto additional pages here, we see that there are easements both on, so right there, you're seeing that area that in the with the dashed outline to indicate shared parking and access for the tasting room so that they're able to assured long-term access and use of parking for their purposes, even though that lot won't own this lot. And then scrolling down further, we see, continue to scroll down, I think, to the next page. This easement, that shows it too, is on the Buck and Honey's lot, again, kind of addressing that need for easement and access to parking that is allowable for use by customers of the lot that will be the tasting room. Staff recommends approval of these CSMs. There are some markups here coming from Strand. Nothing major, kind of nitpicky stuff, but just some things that should be addressed for clarity. Maybe the biggest one to point out is I think since the tasting room was approved, the SIP for the tasting room was approved. Part of what needed to be worked out there was what was going to happen with what is labeled on there as outlot 16, which looks like street right of way. It has since been clarified that yes, that is street right of way, such that at some point in the future could be extended to the south if that makes sense in the future. The village didn't want to end up not having that option, and so made sure to protect that option. I think there's going to be some parking along that street as part of the parking solution for the tasting room, but that's probably the most significant edit. So recommendation is for approval, subject to some of these final edits as marked up in the packet.
And I think if you haven't seen it already, that extension of Simon Crestray is complete. I think minus 50 feet or so from the southern lot line there.
Okay, so let's see if we've got any questions here. Chris?
I'm a little confused. So right now it's one lot and that's owned by Buck and Honey's?
I believe it's still owned by
The Tierneys.
the Tierneys.
Tierney's? Okay. And so we're just dividing it so that both businesses have access to parking guaranteed? Okay.
And so that the created lot 2 can be sold to the owner of the tasting room business.
Okay. That clarifies it. Thank you. I don't have any additional questions.
Is that lot 2 or lot 1? Which is the,
Right now, it's lot 2, but if you go
Oh,
back to the
yeah.
CSM, the CSM is taking that.
the larger lot would be sold to
Yeah,
the owners of the tasting room.
exactly. So it becomes lots 1 and 2 of this new CSM. Right, exactly.
Okay, let's bounce back and forth here. Chris?
I'm good.
Okay, Kevin?
Is there anything happening with driveways or is there just still one way in and one way out?
Not by this mechanism.
Not familiar with any changes to the site plan that you had seen previously for access related to the tasting room. I don't believe this, you're aware if this changes the site plan? I don't believe so.
Looks like we might have comment on here. Mike might have.
Oh,
Yeah, Mike may have more to say on that.
can you bring Mike in?
Go ahead, Mike.
Sure. The Buck or the tasting room folks, of course, will have access to the adjoining streets, whatever the village approves for their driveways onto the adjoining public streets. They also would have access through the driveways, drive aisles on the Buck and Honey's parcel up through the easement that goes between the Quick Trip and the Quick Trip car wash. So I mean, there's total circulation there.
Okay, does that answer your question? Okay, and Brian?
No questions.
Okay, Tricia?
Nope, I think I'm good now.
Okay. I will note, drove out there and the street is there, looks pretty good. The parking is all there. In the SIP, there was maybe a little mini driveway or something that connected from the street into what is the new lot 2.
Is that about here?
It's a little further down. It's
Right about there?
right about there. Yeah, further down yet. It's, yeah, right kind of where that traffic lane is.
Into
yep.
the parking area?
Yep, right there. So it doesn't look like that's paved yet, but it's obvious some people have driven through there. So, it'll be nice when it's actually paved. The only question that I really had on this is there a reason that it couldn't all just be kept the way it is and that entire parcel sold to the tasting room? And we might be getting into their finances and whatever else with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take this.
Mike raised his hand again.
Sure. Yeah, Mike can weigh in on that.
Go ahead, Mike.
Well, the tasting room just, they just wanted to buy, a certain amount of land. And then also we have a commitment, of course, to Buck and Honey's or, 50 years from now, somebody else might be in their site or whatever. So we, as the Tierneys, we've got two good users here. So we just have to maintain, the rights for both of them to have sufficient parking. And, that's just, the tasting room didn't want to buy the whole piece, I don't believe.
Sure, fair answer.
Yeah, and then also I should mention one thing that wasn't, neither our surveyor nor Strand noted is there is a sidewalk easement on the edge of Outlot 16 that it has to be reflected on the CSM. We granted a easement for sidewalk because you needed more width, I think because maybe the parking. So that'll have to be reflected on that lot there.
Okay. Thank you. In light of that, any other questions?
Motion to approve as presented.
Motion by Chris.
Second.
And a second by the other Chris. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that one carries. Last thing we've got is a Waunakee Westport Joint Plan Commission update. And I don't know that.
The same agenda item from tonight is on the Joint Plan Commission meeting tomorrow night.
Okay,
And that'll be the formal recommendation to the village board.
and that is the only item.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. And with that, we look for a final motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Motion to adjourn in a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
While you're still here, if I could make my own announcement about my own professional transition. I am on my way out of MSA. I've been MSA for 19 years and am transitioning over to be executive director of CARPC. So you might be seeing me the last time in this capacity, but this won't be the last time that you're seeing me. So look forward to working with all of you and with the village. The village, I think, is one of the leaders in the county in a variety of ways and supporting good development, and hope to continue to be part of that through that role with CARPC.
And then it's a big job, no doubt. And then in relation to our contract planning support, the plan at this point is to have Lauren settle in, assess her skills and talents and see to what extent we think bringing a contract planner under retainer, so to speak, is or isn't necessary at this current time. So I think we'll let a couple months pass, allow Lauren to get her footing here, and then we'll make some decisions on whether we should bring on additional planning support.